That's why when he hits me
Now
and
I'll
I go,
know.
and he goes, "Are you okay?" And then I flip him off. Now you all
No.
know that it's warranted.
First of all, I've never hit you.
Really? Never?
Never hit
Not
you.
one time?
Have we ever been here where I've hit Megan? I have many of opportunities.
Welcome to Shankcast, episode number 3. Today we're going to be discussing hitting opponents in doubles. Is it legitimate? Is it not legitimate? Is it okay tactically, or is it just a dick play? We'll discuss all the ins and outs of that today. Before we get right into the topic, I wanted to remind you that up until September 30th, 2019, you can get a free instructional program of your choice from essentialtennis.com simply by leaving a review of the Shankcast on the iTunes Music Store.
If you review really bad, I'm not giving you a free.
That's up to you, Megan. I'll leave that up to your discretion.
I'm just
One-star
kidding.
reviews will not receive a free program. But no, seriously. Any review, all you have to do is rate the show, leave a review, and send us a screenshot of your review to ian@essentialtennis.com or support@essentialtennis.com, and let us know what program you'd like. You can see our full catalog of instructional programs at essentialtennis.com/courses. I think that's right. Is
You're
it
right.
/courses?
Yep.
I'll double check that really quick. If you
You're
click
right.
courses, it is /courses. All right, great. Good. So today we're going to be talking about hitting at opponents in doubles. And there's a whole lot of nuance to this. And I think for the most part, we're kind of on the same page, but we've purposefully, not really fleshed it out because we want to save it for the show.
For the viewers that can't see our faces right now, when he said that, we're all smiling.
So we're going to be going around the horn and discussing several questions today. Those questions are, do you think hitting a doubles opponent is legit or not? Why or why not? Do you have a story about getting hit that comes to mind in doubles? Have you ever purposefully targeted a doubles opponent? Yes, no, or is there any story around that? Do you put your hand in the air after hitting or getting close to hitting an opponent? I think that's maybe going to be the most entertaining one. And maybe where we possibly vary the most. And then finally, do you teach your students to hit at their doubles partners? Opponents. That'll be an interesting one too. We have not discussed most of this previously, so you get to see our shock and or pleasure in seeing how each of us feel about this. Sound good?
Nice.
All right, so leading us off, do you think hitting at a doubles opponent is legit or not? Why or why not?
I think it's your turn to lead us off.
Yeah, should I?
Yeah.
All right, I think this is such a situationally dependent question, I think there are instances, and by the way, I want to just kick this off right off the bat by distinguishing between trying to hit somebody with the tennis ball versus targeting in their vicinity on purpose. There's a completely different situation between those two, or completely different distinction between those two things. One is a tactical choice. We all know, or hopefully everybody knows, that when there is a high ball in doubles and you are close to the net and you're receiving it, and you have the choice between a player who's back behind the baseline and a player who's close to the net, you should hit towards the person who's close to the net. They have no time to respond. They have no time to react. And their feet are vulnerable. Their feet are exposed and open targets. Whereas somebody who's back close to the baseline, trying to aim for their feet, they have way more time to react. And you have much more chance of missing the shot because their feet are close to out of bounds. Or maybe they actually are out of bounds and it's not even an option. So for me, there's a huge distinction. I have no problem with getting hit at when I am the easy target because that's just the right shot. It's just a tactically correct shot. Not everybody has that attitude. There's a lot of tennis players that no matter for what reason you hit in their vicinity, they'll be offended. And this is something I'm sure we'll discuss and we'll get into. And I have a problem with people that are really sensitive about it because I feel like they don't understand the tactics of like what's a good shot in doubles and what's a bad shot in doubles. So is it legit? It can be absolutely legit to hit in their vicinity. Is it legit to purposefully try to hit? There's a difference between hitting in their vicinity and maybe like catching them in the foot or in the shin and aiming for their chest.
Which most times the ball would go out.
Right.
Throat.
All right, small target. I like it. In a doubles match with 4 good doubles players, it's very clear to tell the difference between those two scenarios. Everybody on the court knows instantly which was intended. And for me, my opinion, in a small percentage of the time.
Just say it.
We can get into I just want to be clear. It shouldn't be most of the time. A small minority of the time, I'm okay with targeting, purposefully trying to hit a doubles opponent. And as we go around, we can get into the specifics. I won't take up I could do a whole podcast episode right now without Kevin or Megan talking.
Not the show.
I think a small percentage of the time, it's okay to aim for an opponent on purpose. And I think a large majority of the time, it's totally fine to aim in their vicinity on purpose. And if it gets close to them, that's just part of the game. I used to say kind of jokingly in my clinics and stuff when I was teaching full time that it's not doubles until somebody gets hit.
Oh, we've all said that. Every single coach has said that at one point. Yeah.
And part of that was me trying to kind of soften up, or rather toughen up my students to the fact that if all 4 players have an aggressive mentality and they're trying to improve their position on the court and they're being offensive, somebody's going to get hit at some point. And it's part of doubles.
In the face.
So I'll leave it at that for now. We'll go around the horn. Is that clear? I think, and we can get into specifics.
You did.
I think a very small percentage of the time, it's okay to try to actually hit somebody. A large percentage of the time, it's totally fine to aim towards somebody. And an accidental hit happens, and it's part of the game of doubles.
Okay, I'll go next.
Stop talking before I just...
So, yeah, I think 100% of the time it's okay to hit in the vicinity. I think that there's so many times where, that is the right play in doubles, for sure. Aiming at their feet, aiming close to them, aiming in the middle of the service box. They happen to be standing there. That's just how it goes. That's doubles. You're trying to win. That's the whole point. Now, this is where I might differ a little bit from Ian.
No.
In the face.
The details are really important, I feel like, in this conversation.
I would not say that it's... Don't, Kevin. I would not say...
She's turning red.
that it's good to hit someone. But I will say...
Meaning purposefully target to try to hit someone.
Right. But I would say that sometimes it's necessary. There are many times where someone is just crashing the net and they're on top of the net. And the one way that I'll get them off the net is to hit them.
You got to brush them off the plate.
Right, yeah. Or if they, a revenge hit, there's plenty of those in some women's doubles for sure.
We're going to the revenge hit.
So whether I say it's right or wrong, it's definitely in that gray area.
So you're saying it might be the right play, but it might not be ethically
correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
Oh, another moral dilemma.
Yeah.
Can't wait till this comes around to Kevin.
Yeah, no kidding. Great.
Kevin has no morals when it comes to tennis.
Yes.
Calm down.
So I do think that I do think though 100% of the time, you can go in the vicinity of any player. I don't think that, and I used to tell my players, if you're getting hit, then it's your fault, put your racket up. But I was probably a little meaner than you were as coach too. So, which is not always true. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's a lot of times can be your partner's fault for getting you hit in that sense too.
And or opponent. There's some opponents that have no problem with trying to hit an opponent at any time.
Right. But I will say this, is that most people, and most times, if you're trying to hit the person, you're going to miss. and you're going to make an error unless you are.
depends
I mean, if you're playing at
Depends
a
on where you're
high,
aiming.
Yeah, if it's an overhead and they're relatively
well,
close
that's
to
true.
the net,
Okay, that's true. That's true. There are
You got a lot of miss.
circumstances.
you got a lot to work
But
with.
if you're got a short ball forehand and they
Totally.
don't duck,
100%.
you know, I
Yeah.
mean, the ball's going
Those
out.
are the ones that are really obvious.
Right,
when it's
right.
like
Yeah.
a short low ball and you like hit the back curtain.
I had plenty of girls that I coached that did that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say that in some circumstances, I would be like, yeah, hit them. Because I do think that the net person has to be aware. And that's one way to make them aware when they're at the net. If you never hit it near them, then
That's the
they
thing.
never
That's a
are
good point.
scared.
If
at
they
any
don't
point.
respect, like, if they don't respect you and they kind of assert their dominance positionally,
Right.
like in the match,
Right.
and you're just kind of like, oh, like I don't want to hit like close to them. You're giving up a
Right.
huge chunk of real estate.
So you're really saying it's okay.
I'm saying in certain circumstances.
We both have
yes.
said it's okay in
Yes.
some circumstances. Yeah.
So yeah, so I do think that is like there are circumstances. Now, if I just have like a high overhead and I have their feet versus their face, I would say you should go to their feet over the face.
Is there any situation where face is okay?
On an overhead, I say no.
When it's me.
Okay, yes.
Meaning hitting towards
Yes.
you?
No, hitting Kevin. No, I would say no. I have never in my life aimed an overhead at someone's like chest or face or anything. I have aimed at their feet.
Oh, yeah, feet all day.
And I've never actually hit anyone like on purpose with an overhead. 100% of my, and which I know you guys consider weird, probably.
We'll come back around to
But
that one,
anyways, yeah, I think that's my stance.
I hate to see the look on my face when you said I've never purposely hit somebody in the chest.
And you're like, really?
It's like in astonishment. Okay, so what was the first question again? Sorry.
Do you think hitting a doubles opponent is legit or not? Why or why not?
Yeah, I totally think hitting a double opponent is legit. You have the first one. Everybody agrees that aiming in the direction. I'm not even going to go over that. Of course, you can aim in the direction. If they don't see the ball and they get hit, whose fault is it? I mean, it's slow reaction. Can
you clarify in the direction?
Like if I'm going in a direction, I'm aiming for your chest.
And you think 100% of the time that's okay?
Okay, circumstances. If we're talking, okay,
Because you
the
just
first
said
one.
100. You said I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I mean, like, okay, circumstances would be like for you. I've went at your chest before. You've crashed the net a couple times, and I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of trying to come up with a pass. His chest is the target.
And I expect it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
This is one of the reasons I don't like to play against Kevin, just so we're clear.
it's totally tactical though, because it's like, okay, he's closing it. I'm not in a position to maybe hit a good lob, and then it's like you're doing a good job on the overhead. So I'm like, look, and I think this is the other thing. As the person doing the tactic, coming in the net, it's gonna happen.
It's on the table.
Yeah, it's on the table, and it's like either I can be the nice guy and go, oh well, my passing shots aren't working today. Let's just keep going. Or
I think this is the problem with so many players though, is they don't see it as being on the table. They think it's not a legit shot ever.
Yeah, totally. It's on the table. Like if you're crashing the net, and I have no remorse over going for your chest if you're crashing the net.
What if they're not crashing the net?
What do you mean?
What if they're standing in the middle of the box?
I won't go for somebody unless they provoke me. If
Unless
they provoke
they're
me,
me.
that's no, I won't go for you. I like fake and stuff, but I actually never aim for you. Unlike you.
This is true.
Yeah, I'm usually on a tennis court. I'm very like, okay, open court, pass, blah blah blah. Now, if you provoke me, that's a whole nother animal. Where I've had like, and I'm kind of protective of my doubles partners too. I've had where in college matches, a guy got into it with my doubles partner. I was like, dude, okay, fine. And literally, I tried to take his head off the entire match. I'd overhit everything, and he knew it was coming. And I knew he was coming after me. And if he hit me, I actually wanted him to hit me because it takes my level of focus, level of intensity to a whole nother level, and it became just a war.
Did you win that match?
I think we did, and it was even more
Doesn't even remember.
satisfying.
Do you think that's practical for the average doubles match?
Again, it's so interesting. It comes down to not the tactics; it's the psychological wherewithal of the person who can deal with hitting someone, and especially in a social climate of most clubs. And most people can't deal with like hitting someone. Like, so for instance, I had this bad incident where I actually wasn't aiming for the first time for somebody, and we were pro-am kind of hitting giggle, and I aimed in the direction. I actually didn't even aim for his chest. And
Kevin says that like he's such a nice guy.
I know, just a real
I'm
nice
trying to
guy.
remember this. if
Hands
I
are up in the
remember.
air, didn't aim for the chest, and it hit his racket, bounced off his top of his racket, hit his eye, and his eye started bleeding. He's on the ground. And then he got back up and played, and I was like, dude. And everybody's like, dude, you're such a dick. And I didn't even aim for him. And he knew it. He was like, yeah, it hit my racket and ricocheted. But yeah, in those kind of situations.
I completely don't remember
That's
that
pretty-
one.
that's
Oh, it's a
pretty
different club.
intense.
It's where I worked at a
Okay.
different
I
club.
was like,
And so, yeah, for those kind of situations, yeah, we're hitting giggle, yeah, and it's just like off incident. But if we're competing, generally I don't go for you. But if you're doing a certain situation that causes me to go, like, look, you've put yourself in harm's way, and I got to do what I got to do. If you tick me off, I probably might take one at your face 1 or 2 times just to tell you, like, I'm not happy with you. So, like, let's say if I know someone's hooking me. And I mean, I'm pretty generous. I'm like, okay, sure, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you did it again, blah, blah. You come the net, yeah. I'm totally going to hose. If any ball's above the net, just prepare for your face to get, like, hammered at. And even if selectively picking the points where you can actually, like, hit it out and not, like, just to let them know. But you got to know your opponent, because sometimes if you go for them and you miss it, oh, it just stokes the fire, and they're so pumped about
100%.
it. Yeah. So you have to kind of like,
I love it.
Yeah, you kind of have to know like the positioning, the timing. There's a skill to like trying to take someone's face off. There's not just this random fireball of anger. And then, I guess that's the next question. How do you handle the sorry?
Yeah, that's another topic.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
At this point, I feel like we should take out the story of like us getting hit. I think we should focus on like the being on the sending end instead of the receiving.
Sure.
But I'll just kind of add it to the bottom. If we have like extra time at the end, maybe we can tell stories.
Yeah. So that's where I stand. I mean, I think totally direction, hitting it in the direction. I mean, that's not even a question. But yeah, I can be provoked, and the other thing is it's a tactical thing. I mean, especially in doubles, there's a certain level of I want to show my opponents that I am very highly aggressive, and if you give me anything that floats, I want everybody running away from the net. I just automatically want the sense of like, oh god, I may be hit, and I'll aim for your feet. But if this is a really contentious doubles match, and you've maybe said something to my partner that I didn't enjoy, or you've hooked us a couple times, I might fire one across the bow and just say, just letting you know how I feel about it.
All right, so we kind of
everybody thinks I'm the mean one. See?
Kevin backs away from the mic. All right, question 2. We've kind of bled into a little bit, but we'll go back around again. Have you ever purposefully targeted a doubles opponent? Yes, no, like why not? Story. So yeah, you and I are not. All three of us are definitely not all exactly on the same page. I will go feet a lot, like early, often, like hard, like whatever. I'll go feet a ton. I will not go above feet unless it's like positionally or like strategically. There's no other choice. Like we were talking about short, like low ball, and they're really tight on top of the net. I don't have a problem with that, especially at our level. Like like their hands are tied. It's like back in the line into the corner, and it's like, all right, like there's only so many shots available here, and so apart from like situationally it being kind of the only ball like available, I try hard to not go purposefully like above the knees, just as kind of a rule, like a personal rule of thumb. Like you were saying, but I think our thresholds are probably a little different. I have to be pretty aggressively provoked, in order for me to aim. Like I'll go maybe a little harder at somebody's feet, but I'm not aiming any higher than the knees unless it's some kind of like aggressive situation where line calls, or like you were saying, they're targeting me and or my partner like high on purpose, and or they're being really overly aggressive with. I wouldn't even do. Wow, they'd have to be awfully aggressive with positioning for me to be like, well, I'm just gonna hit him in the chest. Like, have to be an extreme situation for me personally. So have I purposefully targeted an opponent? I'm sure at some point I have. I don't remember any like really specific stories besides one, and this is a good example, I think. The weekend that I played with Jason, I've told the story a couple of times, where we played NCAA regionals. We played against a team where the off player, Jason was serving, and the receiver's partner was doing the old like dance around the service box like bit. And
happy feet.
Yeah. And it wasn't just happy feet. It wasn't just that he was like close to the center service line and like doing the like ready dance. Like he would start back in no man's land, like off at an angle, and like come in hard towards the box right as Jason put up his toss. So it was like a very, very purposeful thing where he was trying to distract Jason.
I'm starting to see the horns come out.
Yeah. And so Jason and I came up to talk like between points, and Jason just said, I'm going to hit him. And I said, all right. And so I went into an I formation, and I showed Jason middle finger, and he kind of laughed behind me and said, yep, and hit it the hardest serve he could and hit the guy like in the hip, which means like at hip height, if the ball goes past the serve, I mean, it's going to hit the baseline, basically. It's probably 110.
But you won the point.
Oh, yeah. Probably 110, 115 mile an hour serve pretty safely. And the guy was like, are you trying to hit me? And Jason said, nope. Accident, sorry, and just went over to the other side of the court to serve again. And the guy was pissed, and he didn't do any more service box dancing after that. It took care of it. And it doesn't always work, but like to me, that's the most obvious example in my mind where it's like it was warranted, it was called for, frankly, like in my opinion, in that environment, and it got the message across. So I think it has its place, but for me personally, it's got to be a pretty extreme scenario.
I'm probably somewhere like in between you and Kevin. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
a little more aggressive than me.
I'm probably a little bit more aggressive in the sense of like someone, but I give someone pretty big leniency. Like if you have a bad line call, I'll give you a couple bad line calls before I like take out my aggression, or like I need to know that you're purposefully, and most of the time that's when it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever tried to peg someone off of because of a line call. But I will, like if you're pegging me on like if you're targeting me, then, and I know it, like it's happened more than once or twice, then I will take some retaliation. Or if you're targeting my partner, I think that's the biggest time.
Malicious intent is huge.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but in female tennis, it is ridiculous. And actually, I just think we don't disguise it as well. It happens, I think, the same in men's, but you guys disguise it better than we do, I think.
I disagree on that.
Or you just come off the court and you don't care if you guys hit each other.
I don't have enough data to really say.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, I feel like women hit each other a lot. But I can't remember, honestly, like a time where I was targeting.
And just really
lit
somebody up.
Right, yeah. I can't remember. I know I've hit people before, for sure.
Yeah.
But either they knew it was coming because of something that had happened before and they weren't really surprised. I don't think I've ever hit someone and they were like super surprised that I hit them. You know what I'm saying?
Just a hilarious
premeditated
distinction.
Like they, you know what I mean? Like
everybody
they knew,
on the court knows what's going on.
They knew it was coming.
Out of left field.
It was just who's going to be first kind of scenario. So, I mean, other than that type of scenario, which I don't really remember those times, I guess, because they don't like super stand out to me in my mind.
I want to talk about that distinction after we go back around. I think that distinction of like everybody on the court understanding and like being on the same page, it doesn't happen at 3-5 level. It's like
Right.
at 3-5 level, the first time a ball comes close to somebody's
they freak
feet,
out.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
they're like, oh my, like, what are you trying to do over here? And it's
Right.
like you tried to like stab them with an ice pick or something. I'm going to kind of add that into our questions because I think that's really important, that awareness.
Yeah. Ironically enough, at the club level, I think Kevin and I were probably some of the only pros at the time that taught like to go at the net person. I think a lot of pros teach.
At what level? Are you talking about your
Like at
juniors?
the 3-0, 3-5. No,
Really?
juniors is a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
But like
Now,
3-0.
when you say at the other person, you're talking about.
Like at their
Yeah,
feet,
I
like
wouldn't-
in
Okay. Oh,
their
sure, yeah.
vicinity.
Okay.
But a lot of coaches teach go to the middle, so where you're not hitting
I taught
anyone.
feet for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
did too.
so and that's what I mean. Both of us, and so a lot of our clients who were that 3-0, 4 to 4-0
Animals
range,
on the court.
yeah, were a lot more aggressive than people who didn't take from us. And not that
probably
that's
won
a
a lot-
bad thing
they
or a
probably
good
won a
thing.
lot
No,
more.
yeah.
No, they did. But it was a different mentality. I mean, I
Yeah.
made it very clear. Well, we'll go into that in a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll talk about like teaching like
Yeah.
students and stuff like that.
I don't remember ever like outright targeting. If Kevin was standing in the middle of the net, I 100% would hit it at him.
Fire.
Target
But
acquired.
here's the other thing too, is that so if someone is really close to the net and you feel like you have no other options, I feel like that's another example of they have the idea that might be coming. And so I would never hit someone that I felt like could not react to be able to get the ball back. Like if
just
I was
didn't know.
playing a 3-0 level player,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
never
Yeah.
in my life, I would lose the point rather than hit them in the face.
Totally.
But if I was playing Kevin, like, and I hit him in the face, I would be like,
It's different.
You knew I was coming at you.
Kevin
but
knows, and he has the.
Do you feel
He has
the-
tools to be able
Yeah.
to defend himself.
Yeah. If you
And I
don't know
think-
and you don't have the tools, then it's just a cheap shot.
Right. And I feel like that's the difference. Like if everybody kind of understands that understanding on the court, I feel like that's a different level of what's going to happen than if like everyone's oblivious and people are just getting hit just
Yeah.
because people are getting hit kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. I mean, definitely, you I'm not
That
trying
doesn't
to
happen
peg
very often.
everybody.
Every shot.
Every shot. I don't want to paint this picture of me just being the peg monster, but I mean, you know, if I'm playing somebody at my level and they're I mean, like Ian, like I mean, we've played, and you know, there's been a couple times where we've played. I'm like, I cannot get the ball past them. I'm like, okay, chest it is.
And I've never once felt like you hit a dirty. Like,
Yeah, no,
a dirty,
no.
like not one time. It never even crossed my mind.
No, yeah. I mean, it would be dirty if like I hit you hit a short ball on the service tee, and you're like, oh god, okay, he's gonna pass me, and you're like kind of like walking off,
Yeah,
and I
kinda.
peg you in the back, and I'm like, yeah.
That's a good one.
But yeah, that's a classic. The one thing I will disagree, and I think it is a male-female thing in some sense. I mean, because a lot of, funny enough, I worked with a lot of women in the doubles, and one of the biggest things that we had to talk about was like,
The claws come out so fast.
No,
Well,
it's
actually,
a
it
stigma
wasn't
that
no.
women don't want to hit each
Yeah,
other
yeah.
because of the
you're
mindset.
still in my fire.
Yeah,
You're still in my
yeah.
fire.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, there was a huge stigma about that.
Story of my life.
And there was just I think there's more of a social network, especially at clubs for women, where there's like these big groups of women who do all these things together, and it's like, she's trying to end me. She's trying to end my world. Did you see her go after me? And then it turns into this thing, and then other groups of women like, you tried to end her world. I'm
Yeah.
going to end your world.
So nobody wants to mess with
Yeah,
that.
so nobody,
And nobody
wants
wants
to
to play with you, and nobody wants to. I
and
mean,
so
it becomes
was
like
a fine
this.
line of talking about feet, how to do it. You're not going for the face.
And just to be clear,
And-
that happens with guys, but
Hey, I was gonna
in
get to the
my
guy.
experience, it's not nearly as sensitive.
I think guys, on the other hand, I think generally guys have this innate, in most situations, kind of like unwritten rule. And it's like, if a guy's being a dick, all the other guys kind of know, and like, oh, he's about. You're laughing because you know she was like,
100%,
he's gonna totally get pegged.
You know when you're being the dick.
you know, and you know, and there's a part of you that when you get caught, and you're like, oh yeah,
and the whole group starts laughing, other than you, like that can't tell you how many times.
No, but it's like the guy even
Yeah.
that gets pegged, he's kind of like, yeah, I've been a dick.
Like in the
Depends on the
4-0
guy,
drill.
But I would say for the general part of the guys have this unwritten rule of like, okay, if you're gonna be a dick, I'm gonna hit you, and you can't
have it
complain.
coming.
Yeah,
Right.
and so I don't see that as much with like the
Girls
women.
do too. Just as a matter of fact, we just don't accept it.
And I think that's the thing where guys kind of like
100%.
they accept it and like, yeah, dude, you earned that one, and women are like, no, you didn't. You know, I can't believe you went after me. And it's like, dude, you're poaching all the time. What am I supposed to do? Well, you're not supposed to go after me because that's like not cool. And then it turns into this like huge drama on the court where guys are like, dude, let's just play. And it's like the difference between like dramas kind of growing on like the female court where sometimes they're like, we're done, we're not playing anymore, and guys are like,
Come on, Trisha.
No.
yeah. It's like
Guys do that too. We have seen
it happens.
many a time.
it happens. I'm not saying it's like a catch-all that it never happens, but I think the majority of where I've seen women like, oh my god, and guys are like, dude, just play.
You're being a dick.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you're being a dick. Just shut up and let's play. And the other guy's like, okay. So I'm not trying to make this a female.
It's not always that simple.
It's not always that simple, but I think in general, because there's a social... Guys, I don't think have this like you have some guys who are like, oh yeah, let's go get a beer afterward and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, whatever. And it like whatever happens on the court kind of stays on the on the court.
And I think that's juniors and adults
but
too
on
with
I
men.
think female, whatever happens on the
thing.
court does not stay on the court.
We like to
and
hold
it's
grudges.
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that after the match. I'm gonna make her pay. And
Girls, juniors, like they will hold grudges for 18 years. I'm not
How do
kidding
know
you.
that, Maggie?
Because I still have
You
grudges.
see how I got quiet?
No, but there is. It's something about. I mean, I probably taught more boys than I did girls, actually, and like the boys would get in fights and just try
Yep.
to on the court, and they come out and they're like, "Dude, good match,"
Yeah.
like da da da.
Yeah.
And the girls, like they would be like, that girl cheated me twice. I'm going to, like, for the next 10 years that they play each other, it was every time they walk out, it was that girl cheated me 8 years ago. And, you know, so yeah. Granted, I think that the dramatization on the girls' side and the juniors is way more in general. There's a lot more girls that are crazy. And
well, I think I'm sorry.
Extreme.
It's both juniors and adults. I mean, you name it, call a spade. The drama's just there. I mean, and I think the social
trying to say,
ties.
Kevin?
I think the social ties of adult moms. I'm not gonna lie. The social ties of adult moms and how like there's so many different ties between like, especially if the mom's playing tennis, there's something like, you know, I want to be the popular one, but I also want to win. I want to kick her. Beep. And then there's just so many dynamics that are trying to be balanced out.
It's tricky, yeah.
Yeah, it's so tricky
They want
to
to win
be
a lot, but without being
being the mean one. And it's like, and then you have the ones that are the mean ones and they just kind of own it. And they're like, everybody else is like secretly like, I hate her, but I love her because she's like kicking everybody else.
Because they wish they could
yeah,
be,
they
wish they
I
could
wish
be
I
that
could
person.
just peg her. And then it's so interesting. I think it's so interesting because I've taught both
I'm
sides
sorry,
where
women right now.
So,
to women of the
you know,
world that
here's
are
the thing, though.
listening.
You're listening and you're going.
I'm just picturing the audience like listening.
You're
and being
listening,
like,
going like, "Damn, he's right." Oh my god! And then you have the drills where it's like,
Send your comments to Kevin@essentialtennis.com.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
the drills where the ladies are just like all like not cougars, all animals where they'll peg everybody and like it's just a war and they're totally okay with it. I didn't mean like cougars and old as in men like cougars as aggressive. I'll say panthers. They're all panthers, aggressive, and they're just going after each other, which I kind of love because you know what? They all are on the same page.
I think here's the other thing. I think this goes to a certain level with adults. I think once you kind of get up into the 4-5-5-0, there's a different stigma with the women that it's not like it's a little bit more of like fun because you used to play as a junior. You're just out there playing.
There's
disagree.
competitive awareness that's different too, though.
I think as you go higher in level, it's more like, I'm going to hit you, you're going to get hit,
No, but
and you're going to be
everyone's-
okay with it.
but
When
what
you're
I'm-
lower level, you're going to be like, oh my God, what are they going to think? Oh, okay.
I think it's more level. I agree with Kevin.
Yeah.
I think it's more level dependent.
I agree with what
That's
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying.
High level players just you're saying the same thing?
Yeah, I'm saying the exact same thing. So at like the 5-0 level, I think that there's more of like you played probably younger. You've already experienced that craziness and drama in the junior world, and so you're playing for fun. If you get hit, you know you had it coming. Like it's just
I think that
part
last
of the
part's
game.
the important part. Like they understand the situation and
Right.
the tactics, and it's like they know it's part of the game.
That's what I'm saying. But like up to like 4-0, it's really hard for people to understand that is part of
Yeah.
the game. And so they take it as like a personal attack.
Totally.
Just
And
to let you know, it's not personal. It's just tactics.
Kevin hit you in the face. It's not personal.
Well, if I hit you in the face, it's personal. Like if I hit you anywhere else, it's not personal. But if you get hit in the face by me, it's personal.
Or in the back.
No, I wouldn't hit you in the back. That's even like too below the belt for me. That's like, I mean, I don't know. For me to have to consider hitting somebody in the back
Really?
after
That's where you draw the line?
that's like I mean, like you had to like kick my dog, or something.
That's personal.
Yeah, it's really personal for me to do something like that. So I would never do that. Like I said, it has to be something where you've stoked the fire. But I would say I'm pretty.
But even then, if you're that person and you know that I kicked your dog, under no circumstances am I turning my back.
you better not
my
turn-
back
yeah.
on a sitter, on a sitter overhead.
Yeah, just if you see me with an overhead, just run off the court. And still, I might go after you. That's the best one. When you know it's
Yeah,
coming,
that's so
you're
classic.
running off the court, and I'm going to miss it
Yeah.
just to get you as you're
To have
running
a
off the
chance.
court.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it lets you know how much I'm after you.
Totally.
So wrong.
I love seeing that. I don't know. Kevin and I both get fired up about competition, and I think this is a big distinguishing factor between beginner, intermediate level players and high level players. Is high level players not only embrace it and accept it, but they like kind of get off on the competitive like intensity. And so when I'm watching a match and I see that play, I'm like, yeah, like this is the match I want to watch right now.
Yeah, because you know it's going to be retaliation is coming
exactly.
at you.
Those are the-
Retaliation is a must.
Those are the matches I want to watch. But you talk to like a 3-0 player, and they like can't even comprehend. Like they don't even understand, and it makes them so uncomfortable. The idea that those people would like go at it like that intensely.
You have the lower level, what I call lower level lone wolf. You have these like 3-5 players that are totally okay with pegging everybody, and everybody's like kind of like doesn't like them, or they're usually sometimes like a captain, and they're just like win, and they're like peg, but they're a lone wolf because they know it's like I'm okay with what people think about me. I just want to win.
Yeah.
I just want to get to the next level.
All right, let's move on here. We're almost already
Fired up.
We're at like the 50-minute mark, and we still have more questions. This is a perfect topic, by the way. Like it doesn't get any better than this topic. Until next week. So next question: do you put your hand up after either? And two distinguishing situations, or maybe three. Three different situations. Hitting close to somebody hard. Situation number one, do you put your hand up after hitting close to somebody hard? Targeting close to somebody but accidentally hitting them, or hitting them on purpose. In each of those three situations,
I feel like the second situation should
do
have
you
something.
put your hand up?
We'll go through it. Go
Should
ahead.
I start?
Ian? Yeah.
You go.
Okay. Purposely targeting towards them and not hitting them, 100% no. I absolutely not put my hand up. I'm turning around immediately and walking back towards the baseline.
Full fist bump in the face.
I think we should like take each.
Come on.
Maybe we should take each question and go around really quick because I feel like the
Let's
first
do
two.
that. Okay,
yeah,
let's do that.
could
Yeah.
be
So
pretty-
targeting close to them and not like I hit my target. I do not hit them. There's absolutely never under any circumstances, even if they're angry and they're like, "What the hell?" There's no apology for me.
No, me neither.
yeah, no, yeah.
We all agree.
Okay. All right. So number two, I targeted close to them on purpose and accidentally hit them. Like it was in the vicinity on purpose, and it hit them.
You're
I wasn't
to hit
trying.
the target around
Right.
them, and you
I wanted to
accidentally
hit close
their
to them,
leg
right.
or something.
I wanted to hit towards their
Right.
feet, and I hit one of their feet. For me in that situation, I put my hand up and turn around. There's nothing else. I'll do it just purely out of like respect for the game. I'll put my hand up and turn around. But there's no like, oh, are you okay? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hit you. I'm just going to put my hand up and turn around. Me personally.
I put my hand up and say sorry and turn around. That's what I always do.
Okay,
Like,
let me get this
sorry,
straight because I'm going for their feet.
Yeah.
Like
Listen,
just
you're
a
not
low.
actually trying
I'm not trying to hit them. I'm going for a
Right.
low pass and it hits them.
Not even a pass, like maybe a
I'm
high
picturing a
volley
high floating
at
volley,
their
and I'm
feet.
I'm like going like hard towards
And you
it.
hit their
Oh,
shin.
okay. Yeah, I guess I say sorry. Yeah.
You sound disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, I know. The other one, I was like, what's wrong with you guys? Yeah, I would be like, oh, my bad. And it depends on the social situation. Again, if
I'm assuming this is like
Level
it
below
counts,
level?
like it's competition, like this is real competition.
yeah, you get if it's real competition, you get the kind of like, I'm not sorry kind of, because you know it's coming. It's kind of like more like, my bad. And as I'm turning around, it's not even like, I mean, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. If we're playing at the same level, you're like, and honestly, if I get hit in the foot, I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
it's cool.
I agree.
I get it. And I don't even care if you say thank you.
Never had
or
retaliation.
my bad.
Thank
It's
you.
like, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Might have another.
I don't care if you say, yeah, honestly, because it's like I expect it. It's like, oh, you hit me in the foot. You're supposed to hit me in the foot.
No
So it's
one's
like,
gonna retaliate for getting hit in the foot. As long as they were, unless they were aiming for your face and hit your foot.
And then do you say sorry?
My bad.
Sorry.
My bad. I was aiming
Aim
way
for your
higher.
face.
Nose next time.
Move your face a little lower next time.
All right. So next scenario is you actually were trying to hit them and you hit them. And I think for me,
What's it going to be,
man.
Westerman?
Yeah, I should have been thinking while you were talking, Kevin.
I'll just go first if you want.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No,
we're
because
still
he's going to
going
think.
with
That's
Ian.
fine.
I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is it depends on how bad I hit them and where was I actually aiming. In other words, like, am I aiming, for knees and trying to send a message, and I actually hit them like in the throat? I'm gonna be like, bro, sorry, like I was not like trying.
As
to
they're
do
on the
that.
ground going,
Exactly. Like I'm not trying to make like lifelong enemy. Like it's not that important. Like yeah, I want to win. Yeah, I want to establish like authority on the court. Yeah, I want to have like the powerful position on the court. But at the end of the day, like I'm not trying to
It's a tennis match.
take somebody's vision away. Like that's not like what I'm trying to do. So if I tried to hit them and I hit them exactly where I was aiming, I'm turning around and just walking back towards the baseline.
there we go,
Dirty.
Westerman.
If I was trying to hit them and I hurt them, then I'm gonna apologize for that.
So I pretty much, if I'm trying to hit you and I hit you, I say sorry, hand up
She's
with a
smiling.
smile.
Yeah.
Nice.
If I hit you, I'm trying to hit you, and I hit you, and I actually maybe hurt you, then I walk up and I'm like, "Are you okay?" Like, I never want anybody to actually get hurt. Like that would be bad.
Then she walks
Nobody
away smiling.
There's nobody you want to actually hurt.
No, not on the tennis court. Off the tennis court, plenty of people. Minus Kevin. Kevin doesn't count.
All right.
He tried.
Kevin.
Yeah, I'm okay with that situation. If I hit you, I'm gonna hit you in the chest, and I'll probably like
Dirty.
I'll say like my bad,
With the chuckle.
my bad. I mean, it sends a nice little message. I like that kind of feeling of like insincerity.
I think the situation is so important. I could
Because
see
you're doing something, and yeah, the situation is. I mean, if you're
if
coming,
they were targeting your partner or something.
yeah,
like
they're
that.
dude, you probably won't even get it. If you're targeting my partner and I hit you, I'm just like gonna hit you and like, you won't get anything. You'll get silence. You'll get the crickets.
I don't think I'd ever have complete silence. Me personally.
If they're
That's
targeting
just
your partner,
mine.
like if they already
If you
went
hit
up to
on
my
on
partner,
accident or
No, on purpose.
on
even.
purpose. There's no silence.
No,
Yeah.
I still would be like, sorry, and then I would just smile.
yeah, but it's even worse because it's like I feel like, okay, look, I'm trying to peg you. I achieved my mission. You know I'm trying to peg you. Why even like do the whole fluff?
that's a big big
don't
difference.
do the whole
Everybody
fluff
knows.
and everybody knows. So it's
come
like
back to that, yeah.
like I feel like the extra little like oh sorry is like this extra stab. I mean, so when you're talking about I'm evil and you're like sorry, stab you. If I'm trying to hit you and I hit you in the right spot, I'm not going to say anything because it's coming. And it just adds more insult to injury for me to go, sorry, I didn't mean to hit you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to hit you there. If it
escalates to that point, I feel like where I'm actually targeting somebody, I think the collective awareness of like what's going on is really important.
Yeah.
Important here.
Unless
whether or
I'm
not you apologize.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, like in general, I don't think any of us is advocating. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us is advocating don't like apologize when you hit somebody.
God,
maybe we'll get to that.
I mean, obviously, if I hit somebody and I really injure them, I feel bad because it's just tennis, but we're competing. There's something I was going to say, but you said something I forgot. What were you just saying?
Situational awareness. Like you were saying that they know and you hit them where you wanted to hit them.
Yeah. Okay. So unless I'm trying to like psychologically just completely try to.
He would 100% fist punch in your face.
No, I wouldn't fist pump. That's too. It's not it's not enough. I mean, if I'm like really trying to, I would actually show some.
It's almost
some
kind of
deep
expected,
concern.
like the fist pump's expected.
Yeah, you got to show some deep concern. So like if I was trying to peg you, I'm trying to peg you, and I peg you, I'd be like, oh my God, are you okay? Did I hit you in the chest? Did I get you really hard? Is there a mark there? I'm so sorry.
That's
I'm
so
so
bad.
sorry. Next time I won't try to hit you right there, maybe a little bit lower. Or I probably wouldn't go that far, but I would definitely like, are you okay? And like that. And like, hey.
I'm glad I now know Kevin's different different levels of.
That's why when he hits me
No,
and I
no.
go and he goes, "Are you okay?" and then I flip him off. Now you
No,
know that it's warranted.
First of all, I've never hit you.
Really? Never?
Never hit
Not
you.
one time?
Have we ever been here where I've hit Megan? I have many of opportunities. Tons. Never hit you.
Right, but you guys have been on the court together for like over a decade.
We've never played.
Yeah, we've never played. And I've never, ever.
Never been on opposite ends of the court like that.
Only
not-
twice and like hitting.
Weird.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure we've been on the opposite side,
Or like
goofing
pro-am
around,
or
but
whatever,
yeah,
like-
no, but we've goofing around. I've never hit you. We always kind of play, around. So
I've never hit you either.
Yeah, see,
Not even at home.
Yet.
now you understand. So that's I guess the dynamics of that. Unless I'm trying to really like college match, this guy's been like, or like you're my partner and someone's just like, and I'll peg you and be like, oh dude, you okay? I'm so sorry. Did I peg you?
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah, that's the correct like tone. That's nice and under the skin. It makes the dude just like boil. And then I just like chuckle and turn around.
And high fives his partner.
All right, so let's pivot to this will be I think our last.
No one's ever
topic
going to
here.
want to play me on a court.
That's kind of what you want.
Exactly.
So let's pivot to. So now that we've been talking for like an hour about hitting other people, let's give some like practical advice. So like to the beginners, to the 4-0 players. I feel like I think one of you at some point said like if you're 4-5 or like 5-0 and above, I don't think we need to give advice there. I think people.
You get it.
By then, you understand, like the path you're walking, and everybody on the court generally understands like exactly what's happening. But to lower level players who maybe don't have that instinct or just not in their personality really to like be that aggressive and that forceful.
We have a course for that, don't worry.
And competitive. What do you teach? What do you teach your students? Or like, what's your actual advice to like real players, as opposed to fake players, to real players at home that are listening or watching? Another thing where I wish I thought ahead of time. I think for me, and listen, in the past, I mentioned earlier, I will always teach, I will always coach players to target feet. I think it's 100% legit. And I think it's just good doubles. It's just good tactics. The whole aiming towards the middle thing, that's where so many points get reset by going back to the baseline player. That should have ended.
Points.
Point just starts over again and again and again. Like there's opportunity after opportunity by the net player, and they're so afraid and they're so intimidated by the idea of like the backlash or the blowback or the retaliation or the social like stigma or whatever, that they limit their success. And frankly, for some people listening and watching, that might be the right play for you. honestly. Like if you just want nothing to do with the whole like drama and it's not worth it for you and you want to just stay where you're at, choosing the targets you're choosing, I'm not going to say that's wrong. I think where it would be wrong is if you're saying, I want to play better doubles, I want to win more matches, I want to learn how to be more effective, but you're not willing to take some risk to hit in the direction of another player. That's where I would say your goals are not in alignment with like your attitude. I'll stop there because I don't want to take everything. Who's up next?
Me. Yeah, I don't think I've ever like coached someone to say like, okay, in this particular scenario, you're going to aim for the chest. Like there's no.
I've never advocated hitting somebody high.
No,
for sure.
But I will say that, I mean, I always tell them like, go for that area, go for the feet, like 100%. I've always taught that. I will say in the junior world, there's been some times where like, you know, like that person is just like on top of the net and both players are just up there and I'm like, just hit it as hard as you can. Like just aim for the chest and just get them off the net. You know, and so I've coached.
And does your advice change for adults? Do you think it's different between high level, high performance junior and club 3-5?
Yes, and here's the reason why. I don't think I've ever told like a 3-5 level player to aim at the chest. Because they don't cover the lob as well as a junior does. And so I feel like if they're on top of the net, you could probably lob them and they're going to have to, if both players are on top of the net and they're still getting to your lobs, like then they're really probably.
They're really 4-5s.
Yeah, they're really playing high. But you know what I mean? And so juniors, I think, are a little bit different in that aspect. But I will say there are scenarios where I used to teach this like 4-0 men's drill. And there were many scenarios in there where someone was being a smart ass. And I was like, yep, just hit him. And so then they would just hit him, and then everyone else would laugh, and it was like, haha, they knew it was coming.
So guys.
Like that was the case. Now, when there were girls at that drill, which sometimes it was a...
You can't see your fingers, but they are pointing together now.
When there are girls...
Which fingers, Kevin?
At the drill, yeah. When there are girls at the drill, then... I never advocated to hit one of the girls. Like those guys would
that would
just
be the end of the drill.
peg. Yeah, for sure. Like
forever.
For all of them. Yeah, so that's probably my 2 cents.
I personally coach to hit in the throat minimum if you're 3-5. If you're 3-0, hit in the chest. I'm playing. I think the first thing is mindset. I think if you're a lower level player, it's understanding the mindset and understanding awareness of the court that, especially in doubles, you're occupying half the court, so there's less room. So there's more of a chance of you being hit because there's 2 people on the court. And I think when you first come to that kind of understanding about the angles on the court, you understand that you are putting yourself in a position to potentially get pegged as the person in net. As a coach teaching like where to aim, funny enough, I don't really actually think or tell people to aim for their feet. I think of like aiming at like a foot or 2 off. For me, I think.
Always trying to be nice, making up for it.
No. Because here's I think the thing about it. I think a lot of lower level players struggle with like moving forward and being aggressive and aiming. The other thing is, I think when you aim for their feet directly, sometimes it's a better chance of them reflexing the ball back. If you aim slightly away from them having to stretch and deal with the ball coming at them, it's harder.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the opponent.
Yeah, it depends on the opponent. For me, that feels comfortable. I think of, like, if you're standing directly in front of someone, aims for your feet, it's easier to do this than to flip the racket around and potentially. So, but, I mean, it's like the difference between 2 or 3 feet if you can hit that. And, yeah, I think it's just that's the key is understanding that. And for me, like, technically, it's also understanding that the first poach that you're trying to go for their feet or away from their feet isn't the end of the point. Is that you have to close, and that actually makes it easier that you don't have to peg them on the first ball. And I think a lot of 3-5s, they're trying to either go for it and they think the point's over, you don't have to peg. Just keep moving forward, and you get an easy shot that you can act like you're going to hit them in the throat, but you don't, and then you have control.
We did used to play in the juniors short court like volley game, and if you pegged, you got 3 points.
Nice.
You had to like connect with the body. You couldn't connect with the racket.
Notice who's talking about the game.
Just saying.
I don't remember who told me. One of our followers recently told me about a men's doubles group where they play every week, and it's just like a house rule that if anybody gets hit chest high or above, then the set is over, and the other team just wins the set.
The person who hit or the person who
the person
hit?
who hit the other person. And so that totally changes everything. I don't know what level this was, but it was like a men's doubles. Like they're friends, so it's like there's an understanding there. But I think it's so intimidating for beginner to intermediate players that the thought of like trying to do that is just terrifying.
And I think also the understanding that that would probably, even with what I just said before, that would probably happen more so in a guys group than a ladies group. I just do not see that happening in a ladies group where they're like, hey girls, let's go together. And whoever gets pegged, it's just like whoever gets pegged first, the entire deal's over. And I think that's just not because
That's
I'm like
extreme.
No, I think that's some ladies walking out, guaranteed. One lady is gonna go because it's gonna be an embarrassment factor. There's gonna be a lot of social time. She got pegged. Ooh.
I do think it's hard in general to find 4 people to play doubles a lot of times, and so there's that too. Like sometimes you don't want to piss off the other people because to play doubles you need 4 people. That means you need 3 other people other than you that are willing to play.
That kind of like you a little bit.
Huh?
That kind of like you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you want to either have
sometimes they don't
have an understanding between all 4 players. Whatever the understanding is, there's usually an understanding.
Even if it's not spoken, it's like there's like a culture in that group of whatever it is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Understand that. I think understanding the culture of where you're at, the club or local park or whatever, is really hugely important because, I mean, if you violate that, you will become that person. Yeah. You're like, you will not be invited back. You will not be put in a lineup. So it's understanding that, and that will dictate how you aim for when you do get those short balls. I mean, if you're in a tournament and you're like, everybody's going to like love this and I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But I mean, if you're in a social situation where you're having to play with these people consistently over and over and have lunch and
or you've already played with them for 10 years and you don't want to ruin that relationship.
Yeah. So I agree with that. Social situation will dictate how close you aim to the throat or not.
That's the standard by which all other pegs are measured. Yeah. How close to the throat?
Throat peg.
All right. Any final thoughts? I think we pretty well covered this.
Yeah.
Great topic.
Oh yeah. Hit him in the face.
With that, thank you for listening to Shankcast number 3. Again, if you've enjoyed the show, please help us kind of get things off on the right foot. We want the podcast to start off strong. So if you could please leave us a rating and a review either on the iTunes Music Store or if you have an iPhone on the Apple Podcasts app, which is already on your phone. We'd appreciate that a lot. And if you just send a screen capture of that to support@essentialtennis.com, we'll be happy to hook you up with a free program of your choice.
Yay.
Peg in the throat.
Until next time, thanks for listening. We appreciate it very much. Looking forward to next week already. And please share with your friends if you've enjoyed it.
Take care.